Is there a correct order to play through a series in? Like, is it always that straightforward? Sure, you could start with the first game released, or you could start with the most recent game released if you want to play what's newest. But what do you do if you're not really sure where to start? Should you always try to play through a series in release order? Or should you try to play in chronological story order? Or again, what if you just want to play what's newest and coolest? Or can you just pick up a series in the middle or just play select entries? It's interesting how increased accessibility to games has created scenarios where you can ask these questions. These days you could go online and you could buy an entire series digitally that you've never played before, and you could be playing it that same day. But I do remember how it wasn't always like this. There was a time before digital games where you just got what stores had, or you just picked out a game based off of how cool the cover was. You didn't really worry about the larger series, you know? You didn't really care about knowing the story, the characters, or the mechanics from the previous games. Nah, just give me the game with the raccoon and the big 2 on it, you know? Give me what looks cool, give me what you have. But now that we do have access to whole game series, where do we start? Do we go way back and pick up with the first game released? Do we try to pick up where the story starts? Do we play the newest? Do we play what we have? Does any of it even matter? ZUGZUG Nation, aw yeah! ZUGZUG Nation Original. Ever since I got into the Yakuza series, every single day when I look on the internet, I see people discussing where in the series they should start. Maybe Yakuza is an example of a pretty convoluted series because they have remakes and they have remasters and they have collections and there's versions you can't even get anymore. So maybe asking in a series like this is more appropriate, but for someone like me, I had never played a Yakuza game before in my life. In fact, I kind of avoided them because I thought to myself, why would I want to play a game about a bunch of middle-aged men? But then I played the side story spin-off game where you're a pirate, and it very quickly became one of my favorite games, and it's made Yakuza one of my favorite game series that I regret not getting into sooner. I didn't really care that the Pirate Yakuza game was part of a larger series. I just wanted to play it because they put it on Game Pass and it looked kinda goofy. Now in this case, maybe it worked to my favor because the character in that game, Captain Goro Majima of the Goro Pirates, did have amnesia for like 80% of the game. So not even he knew what happened in the previous game. So we were kinda in that boat together. But after I finished Pirate Yakuza, I pretty much had Yakuza fever, so I immediately went and played Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. This was such a banging, unbelievable game. It was so good. The story was so good. The ending climax final battle where it was just like a bunch of shirtless dudes fighting to the death, fighting over principle, fighting over lifestyle. It was so good. And then that game, Gaiden, man, it had this super emotionally heavy ending. And I was like, wow, this ending is crazy, but would probably be hitting way crazier if I had played like the 7 games that preceded this one. With that being said, after playing the 2 side story spin-off games in the Yakuza series, I was kind of able to infer and just figure out enough of the context to enjoy the games, even though I hadn't even played the mainline entries or any of the like 7 or 8 preceding games. And then I just wanted to keep on playing Yakuza. I wanted to play more Yakuza, so I went and started playing the 8th mainline game, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This game was turn-based. It kind of looked like Persona, so it really interested me. This was the second game to feature the new main protagonist, Ichiban Kasuga. So again, I pretty much had no idea what was going on. The intro to the game was kind of funny. He was working at like Hello Work, which is kind of like a Workforce Solutions Job Corps type of place. He got fired from his job. He's hanging out with his friends. Then he eventually went to Hawaii, where Pirate Yakuza with Captain Goro Majima took place. But still, once again, since I hadn't played the preceding games, I didn't fully know what was going on. Eventually, Kiryu from Gaiden Man did show up. He became one of the main characters. Like, he has his own party, and he has like this whole half of the game dedicated to himself. And in order to level up his stats, you do have to like relive these flashback memories from all the previous games. So to a degree, it is kind of spoiling some of the points from the previous games, but it's not making me feel disappointed. It's not making me feel like left out or making me feel like I no longer need to play those games and experience them for myself. If anything, getting these flashback moments to past games has made me excited to go back and go through the series. In addition to playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I also did start Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is where the Yakuza story does start. However, it wasn't the first game released. It is a prequel. It looks like it was released after Yakuza 5. But with that being said, people don't say start with Yakuza 1. They say start with Yakuza 0, since that's where the story starts, and that's a good introduction to the characters, the world, and the mechanics. So this is a series where it's recommended you start where the story starts. However, in my case, I kind of started with what I had available. I've kind of jumped around, and I've been enjoying it just fine. Like I said, if anything, it's made me want to get back into the past games. It's made me want to play through them even more. So starting with the most recent game, choosing to jump around with the games, it is still a good way to play, and it is still a good way to experience the series. Now, just playing the games that you have access to, kind of hopping around, that's kind of how gaming used to be, like I talked about in the intro. Back with my very first console ever, the Sega Genesis, the main game I had on that was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I wasn't worried about Sonic the Hedgehog 1. I had Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that's all I cared about. All you cared about was freeing the animals from Dr. Eggman, running fast with Sonic, hopping around with Tails. It didn't really matter. Similarly, I had Golden Axe 2. Wasn't worried about Golden Axe 1. Golden Axe 2 was super banging. Fast forward to console number 2, Nintendo 64. Yeah, I had Mario Party 1 and I had Mario Party 3, but no Mario Party 2. With that being said, Mario Party 3 was just as enjoyable. It didn't feel like any piece to the Mario Party saga was missing. The PlayStation 2 was a big console that promoted picking up a game series halfway through or at the second entry. With the Sly Cooper series, I started with Sly 2, eventually went on to Sly 3, and then made my way to the first game, but that was after already beating Sly 2 and 3 probably like 10 times each. With Jak and Daxter, I started with Jak 3, probably beat Jak 3 5 times, and then I didn't even play Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy until they added it digitally on PS4. Same with Jak 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 was a real big game that a lot of people kind of picked up and they just had no idea what the hell was going on. In my case, I got it because it looked cool and it was like Disney and stuff and it had Mickey Mouse in it. And then you boot the game up and you're some like blonde kid and you have no idea what the heck is going on. And as it turns out, that was actually the reaction a lot of people had because there was a Game Boy game not very many people played. So a lot of people were missing out on a big chunk of the story. But you know, playing Kingdom Hearts 2, banger game, eventually go way back, play Kingdom Hearts 1. But there's a lot of game series where it would be kind of hard to start at the first entry. You know, everybody knows Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out at like some point. I don't even remember if it's supposed to come out this year or not. But like, if you're excited to play Grand Theft Auto 6, you're just gonna play Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out. You're not gonna try to go way back and play Grand Theft Auto 1, Grand Theft Auto 2. Those aren't even really the same type of game that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be anyway. Plus, what about some of these game series where the original first game may no longer be accessible? Like, there is a lot of game preservation, there is a lot of game emulation, but there may be some super old games that just don't run on modern hardware. Plus, do you even want to bother playing through some of these series from the first entry? Or do you just want to pick up the newest game, have the best graphics, the most refined mechanics? You know, do you want to have to put yourself through that? I know there's a lot of series that I wanted to get into. I pick up the first game and honestly, it's a total bore. It's not good and it makes me kind of dislike the series as a whole. Whereas if I had started with like the second or the third game or maybe even the most recent game, I probably would have enjoyed that series a lot more. Like, let's use Red Dead Redemption as an example. If you think the snow level intro in Red Dead Redemption 2 is long, you don't know what it's like being a cattle rancher in the first game. When it comes to these games, being a cowboy out in the world, yeah, just play Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, you could play the first one later. Plus, that's how the story works anyway, since Red Dead 2 is a prequel. Another big example is the Persona series. Like, if you want to get into Persona, you're just gonna play Persona 5, or you're gonna play like the remake of Persona 3, Persona Reload. Like, are you really gonna try to go back and play Persona 1 and 2? I'm pretty sure you have to like emulate them on the PSP or something. And if you're playing Persona 2, surprise, it's Hitler, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, just play Persona 5. That game's gonna be better anyway. So to just answer the question, is there a correct play order to play through a series? I don't know, bro. I guess it just kind of depends. And the thing it depends most on is you. Like, what do you want, bro? Do you want to play the first game released? Do you want to play where the story starts? Do you want to play the most recent? Or do you just want to pick up a random game and just play that one? At the end of the day, if you have like basic comprehension skills, you could always kind of just figure out and infer the things that have gone on in past games, like characters, story points, events. A lot of games have flashbacks anyway, and if they don't, like I said, you could just kind of figure it out. I see a lot of people saying you could always watch like game recaps on YouTube. Sure, you could do that too, or you could play the game yourself, or you could just not worry about it, just play the game. You'll either figure out what the heck's going on or you won't, bro. At the end of the day, I don't think you should have to stress yourself out or worry about playing every single game in the series. Like, if you want to play Yakuza 5, bro, go play Yakuza 5. If you want to play Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, bro, definitely 100% go play that one. You don't have to listen to what other people say. You don't have to worry about like the optimal entry point to a series. You can just go play games, bro. Games are meant to be played, so go play games. People spend more time talking about games than they spend playing games. We should play more games. Hashtag play more games. And you know what you should do in addition to playing more games? You should subscribe to ZUGZUG Nation. Aw, yeah. Subscribe to ZUGZUG Nation. Check out all my ZUGZUG Nation originals. Check out my ZUGZUG Nation lives. ZUGZUG Nation. Ah, yeah. Is there a correct order to play games in? I don't know. What I do know is you should subscribe to ZUGZUG Nation. ZUGZUG Nation.